Hey Canucks fans, one day after signing their first round draft pick, Braeden Cootes, to a 3-year entry-level contract, the Vancouver Canucks have now signed their second round draft pick, goaltender Aleksei Medvedev, also to a 3-year entry-level contract. So I'm going to talk about Medvedev first, then in transition to talk about Braeden Cootes, I'm going to talk about a very important rule that I forgot to mention in my vlog on Braeden Cootes yesterday. So Aleksei Medvedev, 6'3", 178 pounds. So he's got the height to be one of those tall, big goaltenders that we've been talking about. We always talk about the Canucks that NHL seems to love. And then still has to fill out that frame, of course. 180 is pretty skinny for a 6'3" guy. But we've heard that he's grown a lot in the past 18 months, and he'll continue to grow because he's only 17 years old. So Medvedev is 17 years old. Last year played with the London Knights in the OHL, his first year with them. And they went on to win the Memorial Cup, which was pretty impressive. Now, he did not play in the playoffs, but he did play 34 games in the regular season. He split time with the starting goaltender, that same starting goaltender who played all the games for London in the playoffs. But during the regular season, Medvedev did play in 34 games, and he went 22-8-2. Really good record. 22-8-2, 279 goals against, 912 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. And that goals against of 279 was third in the entire OHL, and his 912 save percentage was fourth in the entire OHL. One of the guys ahead of him was his playing partner in London. So he had a really good season last year, and he's probably going to go back to London, which I'll talk about in a second. Where does he fit in the Vancouver Canucks big picture? Well, I talked about a lot of people really like this kid. They really like this pick for the Vancouver Canucks. I've watched a couple of interviews. I really like him. He's got this youthful maturity to him, this youthful confidence to him, and I think he's very articulate, very well spoken. He's a leader. It seems like he's a proven winner, and he's saying all the right things. So I really think that this could be a really great pick for the Vancouver Canucks. Where he fits in the big picture, well, we know that we got Demko and Lankinen locked up for the next few years together, and then right behind them are Tolopilo and Ty Young. And it looks like Artur Silovs will be on his way out, right? Because he is not waiver exempt. So if we got Demko and Lankinen in the Vancouver Canucks, then we have Tolopilo and Young in the Abbotsford Canucks. Obviously, this is where Medvedev is going to start in a few years, but not just yet. So he still has a lot of years ahead of him, but maybe he supplants Tolopilo and Young, and maybe he becomes the next starter in waiting after Demko and Lankinen. And he's the first Vancouver Canucks goaltender drafted since Ty Young in 2022. Okay, because he's only 17, he has to return to junior. He'll go back to the London Knights. He's too young to play in Abbotsford. And not that I'm suggesting that he could go to Abbotsford. This has more to do linking with the Braeden Cootes discussion from yesterday. Now, remember, I did my vlog yesterday, and I said maybe he makes the Vancouver Canucks, and I'll talk about it in a couple minutes. Maybe he goes to Abbotsford, or maybe he returns to Seattle in the WHL, part of the CHL. But then a couple of you pointed out to me, rightfully so, that he's too young. Braeden Cootes is too young to go to Abbotsford, because to go to Abbotsford, you either have to have 4 junior seasons under your belt, or you got to turn 20 in the year that you go there. Well, Cootes is only 18, so he's not going to turn 20 in the year 2027, because I think he's already turned 18. But he has played 3 years in junior. He had one 7-game season with Seattle, and then 2 full seasons. So technically, this upcoming season will be his 4th junior season, and therefore he would be able to make the Abbotsford Canucks starting September 2026. So I hope that makes sense. Yesterday I made a mistake. I said that he could go back to Abbotsford, or he could go to Abbotsford, but that's untrue, because Braeden Cootes is too young, only 18, and only played 3 seasons as junior so far. You have to play at least 4 or be 20 years old, or turning 20 the year that you want to go to the AHL. Having said that, then you might say, okay, well then it's a no-brainer. This guy is going to end up in Seattle. But I have heard people talk about, I've seen people write about, including Thomas Drance, what happens if Braeden Cootes makes the Vancouver Canucks out of training camp? They could give him that whole 9-game stint, and then before the 10th game decide if they're going to send him down back to Seattle or not. But what happens if he's so impressive? What happens if he's so dynamic? What happens if he's so impactful that they say, hey, I don't know if it's a second-line center, but this guy is good enough to make the team. And who knows? I don't think he's going to leap over Hedel and Bluger and Ratu right away, but you never know. He might show enough in training camp, in preseason games, and in his first 9 games with the Canucks, if they want to go down that road, that he might make it really hard for the Canucks. He might make the Canucks as an 18-year-old. It's not unheard of. It's not unprecedented, but it is relatively rare. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing to talk about is, would you be fine with Braeden Cootes making the Vancouver Canucks? I guess as I say that out loud, the answer would be, why not? Because that means that he had a really good training camp and that he could be a very impactful player. I'm not worried. I still think he's a draft plus one, if not a draft plus two player. That's usually what we see from the mid-team picks in the first round, but who knows? Vancouver Canucks need a second line center, and skill and performance might dictate otherwise. So I think that's a really interesting wrinkle to the story. I didn't really explore it in yesterday's vlog. Well, I didn't even get the whole age thing right. So again, if Braeden Cootes can't go to Abbotsford this year because he's too young, it's either Seattle or it's the Vancouver Canucks. And imagine if it's the latter, that would make for a really, really good training camp story. So there we go. We have Braeden Cootes, 18 years old. It's going to be Seattle or it's going to be Vancouver. Aleksei Medvedev, only 17 years old. I think too young for Abbotsford, obviously, given the whole rule I just talked about. And he's certainly not going to make the Vancouver Canucks out of training camp. So I think it's almost certain that Medvedev is going to go back to London for only his second year, right? Last year was his first season, and they're going to be trying to defend their Memorial Cup. So Canucks fans, give me your thoughts. Now that we have both of our first two picks locked up, does that make a difference? Does that make a difference to you? You're saying, oh, this is standard fare. Like, who cares? This isn't really even a story. This is expected. Or I come from the angle of the Tom Verlander thing got a little scary. He's still signed. Everything's fine. No one's worse for wear. But there were a few contentious weeks there where we were worried that he might enter the draft again, or he might sign with not that, but he can sign with another team as a free agent if he didn't end up signing with the Vancouver Canucks. And that was Tom Verlander, but it sounds like they have high hopes for him to make the team out of training camp as well. So lots to talk about. Leave it in the comments below your thoughts on Medvedev signing his ELC one day after Braeden Cootes signs his. Tonight, I'll be doing a members only show. So if you're a member, make sure you join me at 11 p.m. right here on this YouTube channel. That's for all members. That's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members. Speaking of which, thank you to legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovelander, legendary Brian Blingy, legendary Andrew Chang, and to Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. Thanks to all you for your support. Thanks to my sponsors, Advanced Experts Real Estate, Gassy Jack Art, and Coach Patrik Weight Loss Coach. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe, leave a donation, but most importantly, leave a comment below your thoughts on Aleksei Medvedev signing his 3-year ELC 1 year after Braeden Cootes does. And you might as well put this in today. Do you think Braeden Cootes has a chance to make the Vancouver Canucks, the big club, out of training camp? Members, I'll see you tonight at 11 p.m. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.